all the work that's going on out on Highway 6, we're getting a lot of questions, so we asked Carl to come tonight and bring us an update on where we are with the current project, and I also asked him to give us an update on the second phase of the project as well, that will be the turnarounds and sidewalks, crosswalks, etc. Carl?
I appreciate the invitation. I do have schematics of each phase of the State Highway 6. If y'all take an interest, I'll be glad to roll them out. We can view them. It shows kind of an update of the various ramps that have already been completed, and then some of the ramps that are yet to be closed and worked on here in the short term. What I've handed you out kind of helped you follow some of the train of thought that I wanted to bring you this evening. So just kind of follow along with me on this, and that way you can also refer back to it after I'm gone and remember kind of some of the status and some of the work expected to come up. It says today we have accomplished placing left turn lanes at the main lane crossovers. That was done a couple of months ago at each end of Navasota. Back at the vet clinic crossover, we've got some decel lanes for the left turns, and we have an acceleration lane coming out of there. And then further south end of town, we've got the crossover in and some decel lanes that make it much safer through there. Of the 12 ramps, we've now reconstructed 5 of them to better align with what will be slip ramps for one-way frontage roads, as opposed to the more curved hook ramps that have always accommodated the two-way frontage roads. As we complete the pavement reconstruction, we're currently having to restripe them back to the existing striping configuration for two-way. But as we do the conversion somewhere around May, that striping will become more of a straighter slip ramp path, a little safer and higher speed. As you're aware, currently 3 ramps are closed and under construction. We're looking forward to later this week these ramps being reopened, all 3 of them restriped and reopened. At that point, we will have 8 of the 12 done. Okay, so we're going to pair up the remaining 4. And it says the next 2 ramps to be closed and reconstructed are the southbound exit to 105 East and the southbound entrance ramp, which is south of 105 and 515. So those will be paired up. Those will be the next ones you'll see closed. The work on those could take approximately 3 weeks if the weather's reasonable. During those closures of those 2 ramps, we will have some detouring, as you've seen around the city lately, and it's been functional, although a little inconvenient. And then it says the final 2 ramps that will be closed and reconstructed are the southbound exit ramp to 90 and the northbound entrance ramp there at 90. So again, detouring, you'll see some message boards, you'll see some detour signs, and a bit of inconvenience, and those again will likely take about 3 weeks to reconstruct. So once those 12 ramps have been reconstructed, the big step is the one-way conversion. And to bring to you a little bit about how we'll go about that, I've spelled it out in somewhat detail, but I'm going to say it a little more simply. Basically, we will put message boards out for about 2 weeks just to kind of forewarn everybody, get their mindset right that this is about to happen. We'll have a lot of new signs that are permanent signs that will go in place, and then some temporary signs as we're doing the transitioning and so forth. But the meat of it is continuing to operate the lane that exists there today that's in the right direction for the one-way conversion, and shutting the other lane. And once we shut that other lane, of course, we have to draw back to all the interchanges and stop the left and right turns that are going the wrong way. So we'll close those left turn bays. We'll take down some signal heads. We'll disallow the movements that used to be allowed. And so we'll run one-lane frontage roads for a while, just so people realize that the opposite direction is closed and get that mindset. Okay. And so while we've got that lane closed, we'll go ahead and resurface it, get the fresh new striping. That'll be the one-way striping. And after that's been closed about a week and everybody's kind of developed new habits, we will close the other lane, come back and resurface, restripe the remaining half of the frontage roads, and then it'll pretty well be done. Any thoughts or questions as far as the project that's currently underway, I'll go on to phase two.
What would be the completion of that? You say that we'd be doing this in May, what would be the completion of that process?
Once we are able to do the surfacing, we have a season for our surfacing, it's a seal coat that we call it, and the oil works best when we're in the proper season, so we'll be doing that somewhere in May. And once we set up to do that, we're looking at probably 2 weeks, worst case, to physically get the one-way conversion on the frontage road. So once we get to it and all the ramps have been completed, it's pretty short term to go ahead with the conversion.
So mid-June?
It depends on what time of
Yeah.
day that we get with the surfacing. A lot of it has to do with weather temperatures and with the oil application and all. So it's going to be a little bit weather dependent, but, late May completion, maybe mid-June.
And south of 105 and 515, how will a person who's at that intersection head south on 6?
Both plans and show the details.
I do have a plan sheet detail that would indicate that to you, and I believe it's a rerouting.
Or circle around and go on the west side, go north to 90 and then loop around.
Go another route that's more convenient for you, but on every approach to getting onto this frontage road and ultimately being closed off at the ramp, every approach to that intersection tells you that you need to take this detour.
The other approach would be go around and go up here and circle back.
Could do that as well. And the locals are gonna know somewhat what they wanna do, and we just try to inform those that may not. We'll have them keep
Expect a lot of people sitting there at the lake trying to scratch their heads.
But we have 3 message boards that will convey some of that. And, sure. And then on the, I know we had a public meeting up here on the second phase project, and it mostly provides U-turns at State Highway 90, and then a single U-turn down at the 105 East interchange, and that's strictly the U-turn that brings you back into town, not the one that takes you out of town. Okay, along with that project, we are building pedestrian elements at State Highway 90 that head out to the high school, a 10-foot wide sidewalk. And then there are 2 segments of frontage road that will get built. We've got from Business 6 coming around to FM 39 southbound. That one-way frontage road will tie that together.
Oh, that's the one that brings, gets on the 6 south side.
Taking you south.
Okay.
And then the other one will be the connection right there in front of Martha's Loopers. And that'll tie those 2 stubbed out frontage roads together. So all of that is factored into the phase 2 project. We're currently on schedule for an August letting. And what that does, it usually allows the contractor a 90-day deferral for actual startup. If they take the full 90 days, we're probably looking at around a December groundbreaking for that second phase. And,
What kind of timeline would you have on that?
duration. It's fairly complex. We have to break all the riprap out from under the existing bridges to create those U-turns. We do what we call as a soil nail wall. The frontage road connections, reasonably simple. You can tell that we're still in the early design phases, so I don't have a definite answer. I'm going to tell you from the gut feeling that I have of what's involved in that project, I would say maybe 14 months duration. Don't hold me to it.